How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and this video is the toughest video I've had to make in MLB The Show 25, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And the first thing I want to mention is simply that I'm sorry if you followed some of my investment advice recently with these Weekend Classic rewards. I do feel like there was an opportunity to make stubs, and my intention was to help everybody complete that task in making a huge profit or in just making a profit in general. And in order for me to explain exactly what happened, exactly what I did, I have to back up to before Weekend Classic. I have to kind of explain exactly what I did in real time. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that I am responsible for one of the factors in causing this type of thing. A lot of people lost stubs based on my recommendations and seeing what I did. However, some other people also made a ton of stubs based on using some of the information that I mentioned, using their own knowledge and also applying that to maybe a couple different cards. So congratulations to the people that made stubs. That was the entire goal. But just to back up, at the beginning of Weekend Classic several days ago, and going back, even 25 days ago, I made a video talking about how to unlock Ted Williams. I talked a lot about some investment ideas in trying to buy Grady Sizemore, specifically when he drops in price during the Weekend Classic session. And I was able to buy them, as you can see from these screenshots, and I bought a lot of them. I was able to buy around 135 Grady Sizemores. You're going to see that I have a few more here and there during some of the screenshots. And then I also bought 7 Devin Williams. And I also sold a few of those cards to buy Mickey Mantle during Weekend Classic. So keep that stuff in mind. I was kind of buying and selling, flipping a few of them here and there. But I did not sell all of my Grady Sizemore cards that I had for, 12,000 or 13,000 or 14,000 because the card did go up to that price. My thinking, going back just to give you a quick recap, is my goal was to buy this card for around 7,000 and then sell it for around 13 to 14,000, maybe 15,000 if it was able to get there, and that did not happen. We kind of had a reversal take place where the card went from about 13,000 at the end of Weekend Classic all the way down to now like 8,000 or 6,000. And what you're seeing on this screenshot right here is just several pictures of the buy orders and sell orders that were up for Grady Sizemore during Weekend Classic. This is some of the data that I was going off of. People were asking me about my target price for selling the cards after they had bought them. Some people maybe had bought them for this, 10,500 mark. I see like 26 orders up like that. Like that to me was too high of a price to purchase these Grady Sizemores as an investment. Even though the target price might be 15K, I don't think it's worth it to risk 5,000 in order to make like maybe 3,000 or so here or there. Now, I was kind of risking 4K in order to double up my stub count because I can see that these walls could be broken. This data during Weekend Classic looked the exact same as what I saw with Ryan Sandberg during the last Weekend Classic when I was able to buy 90 of those and make like 500K profit. I could see the different gaps in the stubs between some of the buy orders. I could see the potential that the card could break those walls to reach that, 18,000 mark. If I bought, 135 or 140 cards at roughly like 9,000 or 9,100, then that's, 1.28, 1.29 million stubs invested. And I'm trying to flip those for 18,000 or so after taxes. Maybe I'm getting back, over 2 million, right? Maybe 2 million was the target to get back. That did not happen, obviously, right? The card has obviously dropped down significantly. And now I want to talk about some of the factors that caused that to happen. Now, at the very beginning of Weekend Classic, we had the milestone Clayton Kershaw drop. He had his 3,000th strikeout, which is awesome. I'm a huge Clayton Kershaw fan. However, this card added into the game definitely affected the demand for Grady Sizemore in the current time. We didn't know that at the time that when that card dropped. We didn't know that the developers were going to release another program a little bit later on. That just happened, a couple days ago with the video game program and the 2 milestone cards featured in that. We didn't know they were going to essentially give us a free voucher. So With that being said, at the end of Weekend Classic, I'm getting ready. I knew that the milestone program was coming out. I saw the Cal Ripken Jr., I saw the video game stuff, and I was definitely stressed out. Like, I was extremely nervous because I'm seeing some of these things align. I know that the All-Star Game stuff is coming out. A lot of what I was talking about in those videos ended up taking place. The main thing that I was incorrect the most about is the timing that it all took place. Right? Like, I would have never expected the highest point for Grady Sizemore and Devin Williams to be like the day before the end of Weekend Classic, or that, that Monday. Monday was the highest price those cards were. And then Tuesday came, the Weekend Classic was over. They dropped this program, the video games numbers program. Yesterday, they revealed, the All-Star Game stuff, and that killed the demand even more for a lot of the cards, right? I was predicting in those videos that I was talking about this method. I was predicting a market crash. However, I thought there would be enough of a timing window to sell all of those cards. And I was on the game yesterday. I was planning to make a video explaining all this, talking about my strategy, talking about, how I think in the near future, I think it's a good time to sell these cards. I'm going to start to sell some of these cards for right around 11K. This was yesterday in the morning. I was planning to make that video explaining, like, this is why I'm selling Grady Sizemore. All these things are aligning. I had no idea what was going to happen with the market. But then once that reveal took place on Twitter, I literally watched Grady Sizemore's price just sky fall down to the ground. It went down to almost the quick sell price. I saw the sell now category get taken all the way down. Every single sell now order went through. People were selling their card for lower than the quick sell price. They were getting back, $4,500 after tax when you could just quick sell the card for 5K. But the reason why this happened is because it was almost like a frenzy of people panicking, and there is just no demand for this card right now. Now, I kept a few of these. I didn't sell all of my Grady Sizemores. I tried to sell as many as I could to make some subtle profit, and then I tried to sell some of them to just break even. But I was not going to sell any of them for, 7,500 or 8,500. None of those buy orders are mine. The only way people actually lose stubs is if they go ahead and sell these cards, or if they hit that sell now button for this price. Like, I know people have their stubs tied up into this investment. I tried to get out of it as quickly as I possibly could, and that's what I'm talking about when I make these types of videos, and I encourage people to use their best judgment while these things are taking place, right? Like, I tried to plan as best as I possibly could, something that I've used, concepts that I've used several times over years of MLB The Show. And I've made tens of millions of stubs with these concepts. And sometimes the developers will throw in a curveball here or there. They have done that throughout this year. I just was kind of on the short end of the stick here. I got burned with this type of thing, and I'm sorry that other people did as well. I feel incredibly terrible that this happened, and this was never, my intention. But I also feel like I did provide a lot of good information. Like, there were opportunities to buy and sell these cards if you just used a different timing than I did, right? I did not use the best timing, but other people used a worse timing than me. They actually sold some of their cards for a much cheaper price. I don't think that that's worth it, right? Like, some of these cards, if you look at the other Weekend Classic rewards, these cards currently have a higher demand because they're actually worth something to a collection. We didn't get a milestone collection with that video game numbers program. If that was the case, then we would have some different factors here at play. But once there is another collection, who knows what's going to happen. So I would say probably don't sell those Grady Sizemores or Devin Williams cards for like just above the quick sell. There's another Weekend Classic right up ahead here, and that's one of the factors that people are kind of panicking as well. That's kind of like the fifth and last factor, right? The five main factors are, well, Kershaw, me, and talking about it, the video game numbers program, we got the All-Star Game stuff, and then we got the quick turnaround for Weekend Classic. There are 5 reasons right there. And personally, I would say that I'm more than 20% responsible for that. Kershaw is way less responsible for the crash of these cards than I am, right? Obviously, Kershaw doesn't affect these rookie cards and other cards. in there. A lot of people were buying Grady Sizemore and Devin Williams because I mentioned it, and I know that, so I apologize, but I don't think it's a good idea to sell these cards for this low. Unless you're okay with losing stubs like that. I think the demand for those cards will eventually go up. We don't even know if they're going to put the Weekend Classic Rewind packs with all the All-Star Game stuff coming out back into Weekend Classic. We don't know what's going to happen, and this was probably the last time I make a video about an investment in this year's game like this. I'm obviously going to try and help you guys out, make stubs, give tips and things like that. I just can't trust that the developers are going to switch around more things and add in more packs and add in more free things and add in programs on the day that I'm talking about selling, and I can't imagine that they did that on purpose. I have to believe that everything that on the developer side of things was all planned in advance, but I don't know. I don't really know either. If you think that my videos have less credibility, then I completely understand. There's going to be some people that probably didn't even make it this far or even close to this far in the video, and they're just going to be upset with me no matter what I say, and I also completely understand that. And if you have been following the channel for a long time, then you know that I'm genuinely trying to help people out, and that, you know, I do feel bad with this type of thing. I'm sorry. I feel bad. I can't say it enough. I would have felt bad even if I profited and made stubs and flipped all those cards during the Weekend Classic. I definitely thought about it just like everybody else did. Once I see guaranteed profit, I'm always going to take it. And, you know, this time I didn't, and I kind of went down with the ship just like everybody else. But we'll see. We'll see if that card can bounce back. We'll see. I still have about 15 of them. We'll see what happens. But I'm sorry once again, and I hope you guys are able to understand exactly what I'm saying. Until next time, peace out.